Disney Plus uploaded a new movie, or should I say visual album, on Friday. Beyonce's Black is King is now streaming, and I watched it, and I'm going to let you know what I think about it and whether I think you should watch it or not. Well, hello there. My name's Jeremy and welcome back to Freeform Disney, where I talk about all aspects of Disney, from the animated movies to the theme parks to Star Wars, Marvel, and Pixar, and the TV shows, and everything else in between. And that is why it's Freeform. And keep coming back every day for new daily content. If you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Today, it's a review of the new movie Black is King over on Disney Plus. And I'm gonna keep this one spoiler free, well, as much as I can today. Images I'll use will come from the trailer. So as Disney puts it, this visual album from Beyonce reimagines the lessons of the Lion King for today's young kings and queens in search of their own crowns. The voyages of Black families throughout time are honored in a tale about a young king's transcendent journey through betrayal, love, and self-identity. Does the journey truly end up transcendent? Well, you'll have to watch to find out. Black is King uses an album Beyonce produced and curated last year for the release of the live-action, photorealistic Lion King. That album was called The Lion King The Gift, and it included songs from her as well as a whole host of African artists that she collaborated with, many of whom were actually from Nigeria, also some from Ghana and South Africa, and heck, two of the songs on there you might happen to already know from the album would be Beyonce's Brown Skin Girl or Spirit. Good songs both, by the way, right there. Now those songs are each inspired by parts of The Lion King, and you can follow back those inspirations to see what part it is that actually inspired them, and you really can see that connection. It's definitely there. Now, at the same time, those songs are very much their own creation, have their own stories to tell on top of that, and they do it really well. There's also a great bit of musical variety in terms of style and influences, whether it be hip-hop or Afrobeat or rap, etc. In between the songs, the album uses pieces of dialogue from the movie to help tie everything together. Now, the album was a big success, and this movie is now the rounding out of that album, with beautiful visuals throughout. If you felt that 2019 Lion King movie was too similar to the 1994 animated Lion King, well, here you go. Watch this. That certainly is a very, very fresh take on it, at the very least. Now, it's certainly inspired by the movie Lion King, no doubt about that, but it is very much its own beast. Now this might be where I'd give you the usual specs like who directed it, who wrote it, who did the choreography and the producing, but this one is a little bit more complicated. The fact is that just like that album, it was put together by a whole host of very talented people in various locations throughout Africa. It was also shot on location at least in those three countries I mentioned, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa. And yes, I will note, most certainly Beyonce had quite a hand in most everything that happened with this visual album movie. You'll know I'm not entirely sure what the best way to phrase this is. Should I keep calling it a visual album, a movie, a visual album movie, just call it a film and be done with it? Well, I think every one of those are perfectly apt ways to describe it. They're all fine. So hey, if you watch this film, you are in for a treat. It is visually very compelling. There are many different cultures and styles that are on display here. The costumes that are in it are colorful, often unique, and beautiful. The choreography works excellently to tell the story of the songs and the film. The music is evocative and engaging, and the pieces in between the songs, they will challenge your ways of thinking and propel the film deeper. It's more than just pieces from The Lion King. There's some deeper pieces there about what it means to be Black, the connections back to Africa, knowing yourself and your heritage and your history, and these pieces are really well done. Now yes, you can get some of this from the music album to be sure, without having to watch the movie. But the experience is so much richer and more complete with this film. I mean, it would be like listening to the album for a musical, but without actually watching the musical, for instance. It's just so much more if you actually get to see the entire musical as well. Now, do I think you should watch it? You probably already know where I'm going with this just from everything I've said before and how I've talked about it. So the answer is yes, I definitely think you should. Black is King. Ooh, it is good. Now, at the very least, it will help expose you to a bunch of talented African artists that, hey, you may never have run across before. And that was part of the point of it, too, was to help expose you that way. Now, also, depending on who you are and your own background, it very well might also expose you to some narratives that are more unfamiliar, as we do not see African narratives played out in movies or our cultures very often. And this is something Black is King does really well, too. Now, I think this visual album movie is quite well done, and it is worth seeing even without all of the cultural enrichment or the support or exposure it will give you or give to other African artists. But all of that just makes it that much more important to watch. Heck, we live in a time where more people are finally speaking up in support of Black Lives Matter, and hey, the least one can do is to expose themselves a little more to Black culture and African heritage through a film like this. Trust me, there's a lot more you can do than that. But that seems like the least you can do is help enrich yourself and expose yourself. And Black is King is a good movie for that. And there are a whole bunch of other ones that could be mentioned as well here. Now, as for the authenticity of the movie, I can't personally speak to how authentic it is or to some of the cultures in Africa. But from what I've read, what I've listened to, and what I've seen, it seems to make every effort to do so. Now, there's a problem that comes up in a lot of different pieces of media and in our pop culture, where Africa often gets treated as if it's one entity. Now, frankly, Africa has far too many people and culture to be fully represented in any single film. Africa is an entire continent. And frankly, on this one, on Black is King, I don't think that this film is acting like it's trying to paint Africa as a single group, but rather it's trying to show some of those groups and the great and amazing diversity there is amongst the few shown. And I think that's a great way to go about it. This is just part of the great diversity that exists in the continent of Africa. Now, for Black is King, personally, I loved it. And I can tell you that you'll need to see it a whole bunch of times to fully appreciate its depth. One time, you're just not going to get it all right there. Now, you will have a heads up if you've actually been listening to the album. Now, you'll definitely have a bit more knowledge there. Now, dang, I was awed by the visuals. I was enthralled by the music going through it. And some of the spoken parts, really, they just made me stop and think. Now, admittedly, this film won't be for everyone. I'm not going to say it is. But I think at the very least, it is certainly worth giving it at least a single viewing. Go out there, watch Black is King over on Disney+. It's a good film. What about you? Have you seen Black is King yet? And if you did, what did you think? And do you want me to post another video later with all my spoiler-filled thoughts about the movie? Let me know down below in the comments. And thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, feel free to give it a like, share it with anyone you think will too, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done it yet. I'll see you back here tomorrow for another new episode of Freeform Disney. Have a magical day, everyone, and may the Force be with you. Always.